Hi, welcome to another IELTS video. In this video, I am going to briefly go over what the differences are between bands 6, 7, 8, and 9 in IELTS speaking. If you find this video helpful, come join us at the forum IELTSnetwork.com, and for more speaking-related resources, visit my blog at IELTSSpeakingblog.com. Today we will be using the IELTS Speaking Band Descriptors chart, which is a piece of information that is available for free from IELTS.org. The chart outlines details for the various bands and defines the bands across the 4 skills that the examiner will use to assess your speaking score. So those 4 skills are fluency and coherence, lexical resources, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. So I'll let you download this Speaking Band Descriptors chart yourself and read it over. In this video, I want to just summarize some of the key points that most clearly identify these 4 different bands. Let's start with Band 6. Band 6 speakers are capable of using colloquialisms and English idiomatic language fairly accurately. There will be clear mistakes at points, and these mistakes will allow the examiner to position them at the Band 6 level. But perhaps 50% of the time, these colloquialisms and idiomatic language are used with accuracy. A Band 6 student will have several points of interruption within their speaking. So unnatural pauses, word searching, repeating words over and over. These sorts of patterns interrupt the flow of information from the test taker to the examiner, and this will be a clear indicator to the examiner that the student is speaking at a Band 6 level. Band 6 students speak with less than 50% grammatical accuracy. Another very clear defining trait of Band 6 speaking. And one of the most defining traits is that Band 6 speakers still have some incoherence in their speaking. So at times the examiner will lose track of what the student is saying. And this is something that is not present at the Band 7 level. Band 7. Colloquial and idiomatic language is mostly accurate, so more than 50% of the time the student is able to use these sorts of phrases with accuracy. The student is grammatically accurate 50% of the time or more. So the majority of the student's sentences are completely grammatically sound. As far as interruptions go, the Band 7 student has less hesitation. The pauses are more natural. There may still be a few pauses that are unnatural, maybe cause a little bit of distortion in the flow of information, but for the most part, this area is clearly developed. There may be some minor word repetition and a few isolated incidences of word searching, but not nearly to the scale that is found at the Band 6 level. And then, as I was pointing out before, a clear indicator of Band 7 is that there is no incoherence at any point in the speaking. There may be grammatical inaccuracy, but this grammatical inaccuracy does not lead to incoherence. The examiner still understands 100% of what the speaker is saying. Now, when we get to the Band 8 level, we start to see a much higher polishing of the skills. So colloquialisms and idiomatic language are almost flawless. The student will be able to talk about several specialized topics using appropriate vocabulary. So for example, perhaps medical topics, medical procedures, science-related topics, perhaps key language related to education. So just more specialized topics, and it will be clear to the examiner that that the student is able to use appropriate vocabulary for these sections. The student is grammatically accurate almost 100% of the time. There may be a few slip-ups, and slip-ups that maybe a few more slip-ups than a natural native English speaker would have. So it's clear that this student is not quite completely 100% fluent, but the fluency is at a much higher level than at Band 7. The student has very natural pauses in their speaking, akin to what would be delivered by a native English speaker. Now, a key defining thing between Band 8 and Band 9 is that the pronunciation is very clear. However, the test taker's native language is still easily identifiable. So, for example, the speaker might be speaking with complete grammatical accuracy, but when the examiner is listening to them speak, they can still very easily identify their native language, whether that is Russian or Chinese or Hindi or whatever. And at the Band 9 level, the student's speaking is flawless. Their pauses are completely natural. Their speaking could be compared directly to a native English speaker in many of the different areas, so grammar, vocabulary, all of these areas. As I pointed out before, the pronunciation of a Band 9 student is so refined that pinpointing a student's native language becomes more challenging. It can still be done, but it's just that much harder. So I hope that video helped clarify the differences between these 4 bands. Thank you for listening, and have a nice evening.